So look at these beautiful, beautiful daffodils. My goodness, aren't those incredible? So they weren't blooming 2 days ago, but I wanted to sit out here and film as we talk about what I want to speak with you about today. So thank you for being here. So this is one of those things that people say, and I think they say it because then they sound far more superior than the rest of us. Sorry, that's my little snobby sounding voice. Now, it's one of these things that we don't even know what it means when people say it. I'm going to give you an example here in just a moment. But let me preface this by saying, of course, there is a spiritual realm. Of course, there is. Ephesians 6, verse 12 says this: For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. So there is a spiritual realm, 100%. Nobody is disputing that there's a spiritual realm. But it's the statement that I'm going to say subsequently that you'll see why I think this is said, because people think that then they sound more superior than the rest of us peons, the rest of us lowlifes. Okay, have you heard something like this? Has somebody said this to you? For example, you've been praying for healing and they'll say, oh, you're going to get your healing in the spiritual realm. What does that mean? What does that mean? It's ridiculous. So are there any examples in the scriptures, any at all, that you can think of where Jesus or the disciples, anybody who did any healing in the scriptures, where the healing did not manifest physically, but only in the spiritual? There's not a single solitary one that I can think of. I've thought about this and thought about this and thought about this. There isn't one single solitary example of somebody who was healed who was not physically healed. And I hate when people say that, oh, it's in the spiritual realm, as if they're so much far more superior than you and I because, oh, it happens in the spiritual realm. What does that even mean? It's ridiculous. It's a stupid statement. It's one of those things that people say, I think, because then they think that they are either more superior or they sound more superior, or they think their statement about the spiritual realm lends more credence to what they have to say. So if somebody says something like that to you, oh, you'll get that in the spiritual realm, ask them, what does that mean? Because especially with healing, there's no examples in the Bible that I can come up with. And I've looked and I've thought and I've looked and I've thought for days and days and days before I recorded this. Every single example of healing is in the physical, in the natural. It's not in the spiritual realm. So if somebody says that to you, please ask them. And if you know, please comment below or email me at messagewps@gmail.com. When people say stuff like that, I don't even know what they're talking about because there's zero example in the scriptures. So if somebody says it to you, ask them, what does that mean? And I promise you, they probably don't have an answer. They just say it because they think it makes them sound far more superior by saying that. All right, I love you all. Thank you for being here. Armor up. We ride at dawn. May God bless you as always. Have a great day.